Welcome, everybody, to the LIPSEY'S Aim Higher podcast, our very first.
We've been waiting for this for a while, Rob.
Right across from me is Jason Klossner. I am Rob Abrazino, and I'll tell you what, I'm super fired up, man.
Rob, we've been talking about this forever.
For a long time.
Yeah, and we've been dying to have a venue to be able to have these kind of longer conversations. It's not a video. It's
Absolutely.
not a social media post, and now we finally got it.
Exactly. It's gone from the thinking stage to the talking stage to the planning, and now we're finally, sitting here executing. And and we sound really cool through these headphones, which I like, that bassy voice. So we've got a lot of great episodes, and topics that we've come up with, our group. We've talked to several people in the building about, some cool things to get into. But first, before we did that, we wanted to kind of give a backdrop on LIPSEY'S and a little history about us and what we do exactly. Some of you may be familiar, and I'm sure some of you are not. So we wanted to kind of cover that briefly today. And, Jason, I'll kind of turn it over to you. So let's start with kind of who we are and a little just a quick historical snippet on LIPSEY'S.
Yeah, well, we're a firearms distributor, Rob. And, the firearms distributors play a really pivotal role in our industry. Most manufacturers use distribution to supply the channel of firearms and accessories to the independent dealers. And most independent dealers use distributors as their source of purchasing goods.
We are your warehouse.
We're the warehouse. We kind of serve as the warehouse, the sales team, and probably most importantly, the credit arm of the whole industry. I was going to say some of the advantages of working with distribution. You'll hear two-step distribution or a wholesaler, or those are some of the burdens or the costs that we do take off the manufacturers, which exactly.
A lot of people are under the misconception that, you use a middleman, that's got to, add cost or, add a layer. And, in fact, it really doesn't.
I would argue that it actually decreases the overall cost, because if a manufacturer had to staff up with more of a sales team, a ton of more credit collectors, and people actually just approving people for credit and monitoring it, and also shipping. I mean, manufacturers are great at shipping pallets. They're terrible at shipping one or two guns here and there.
Yeah.
So if they had to do all that stuff, the expense that it would take would be way more than the slim margins that we make on firearms.
Yeah, we've got probably close to 50 salespeople under the roof that are calling dozens of dealers every day. We cover thousands of dealers. I mean, the amount of ground that we're able to cover that. A manufacturer, that sales force they'd have to employ, pay everything else. And like you said, and the credit, we take on the credit, risk. And as we purchase from the manufacturer and turn around, it's on us to, collect. Right.
And also for a dealer too, if there was no distributor, a dealer would spend his whole day doing nothing but trying to order from 200, 300, 400 different suppliers every day. I mean, you go to any well-stocked gun store, and there are a lot of manufacturers represented in there. If he had to try to order from every single one of those, he wouldn't get anything done.
That's a great point. We've got I don't know how many lines, 70 plus,
right around
plus,
80 plus lines.
Yeah. So that's one phone call. We're primarily firearms, really high 90 percentile of firearms. We do have some accessories and a couple peripheral items like that, but. That's a kind of a one-stop shop when it comes to, hey, this brand, that brand, being able to order all at once. So that's a benefit. So what about a little history? You've been here for, Jason's our product development manager. Some of you, again, may know that already, but, his primary role is to work with the manufacturers on our LIPSEY'S exclusives, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. But, you've been here for 23 years, 22?
It'll be 23 in September, yeah.
23.
Yeah. Half of my life now. So
I'm working on 7, so I'm just a baby.
Yeah, you're a newbie around here.
Yeah, that's right. So, LIPSEY'S history, of course, goes back further than that. So, started out back in the 50s as a hunting and fishing wholesaler.
Well, actually, the LIPSEY'S family has been in the outdoor business since the 40s. When Mr. LIPSEY'S father started an outdoor sporting goods store, which really at the time, and this is pre-Cabela's and Bass Pro and all that stuff, and that was really it was the draw, outdoor retailer for years before the big box stores came about.
I was going to say no big box back then,
right?
So.
And then S&S Wholesale started in 1953
here in Baton Rouge.
And they were a hunting and fishing wholesaler Back then, most distributors were smaller regional distributors,
right?
And the Lipsey family bought that distributor in the late 70s, and then in the early 90s turned it into Lipsey's, is what we know today. They kind of got out of the athletic wear and stuff like that business and went strictly into firearms.
Back then, before Mr. Lipsey made that change to just firearms, they carried the exclusive distribution for Converse. And, was he part owner even?
I believe so. Yeah.
So the old Chuck Taylors, which everybody knows what the Chuck Taylors are. If you bought a pair of Chucks, they came through here.
Yeah, one time. Yeah, it's cool. We've gotten like signed Converse shoes from Dr. J and all kind of different basketball players and stuff over the years.
Yeah,
Pretty neat.
So, in talking about our where we fit in the industry and kind of, a little history snippet there, but, kind of our role and our vantage point, I think is really pretty cool. We've got the manufacturers on one side of us and the dealers on the other side of us. And, of course, just a wealth of knowledge, inside this building and firearms enthusiasts. So we've really got a unique look at and we feel the pulse, know the pulse of the industry, from our seat. Maybe you could talk about that a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I preach that all the time. I said, the distributors actually have the best view of the industry of anybody because, manufacturers, they know what's going on with their company and with their products. Dealers know what's going on in their area where they're selling.
Right.
But distributors know what's going on with multiple manufacturers all across the country.
Right.
And you really get a really good view of it. You see the trends and the fads come and go quicker than anybody else does.
Right.
And, what we get the advantage of with our Lipsey's exclusives is we get a lot of interaction with end users as well.
Right.
So we really, I would say, have a great view of what's going on. We, we're able to take advantage of that and see those trends and convert that into some cool special makeup guns.
Yeah, absolutely. And regions come into play, different parts of the U.S.
Sure.
I mean, what's hot, what's what's popular here.
A certain cartridge can be popular in Texas because maybe the Texas DPS adopted it.
Right.
And so 357 SIG is hot there, but you cross the state line in Louisiana and it's just not, doesn't have any play.
Right.
So it's just a lot of times regions can have their certain preferences either on guns or cartridges. Sometimes there's certain laws that like Michigan and Ohio have the straight wall cartridge deal, so the 450 Bushmasters are, they're the hottest thing ever up there. But down in South Florida, they're probably not selling a whole lot of them.
Right, exactly. You mentioned Lipsey's exclusives, and we're going to get into that in future episodes in more detail of some of the concepts and where they actually come from. But why don't you talk about that kind of from a high level of what is a Lipsey's exclusive? It's a great differentiator for us. There are other distributors like any industry, out there, but this is really special to us. It's something I think that we do really, really well. So
it's really kind of our calling card in the industry.
Yeah.
We do more exclusive offerings than anybody else out there,
yeah.
and I'll argue the best ones.
Sure, of course.
There's really there's three types of exclusives. I kind of like to try to break them down. One is the commemorative style, something where maybe it's the 100th anniversary of this or whatever, and so you would make a limited run of stuff. And those are fun to do, but, really there's nothing advantage-wise as far as user-wise. It's more, cosmetics.
Right.
The second is another pretty much just cosmetic. Maybe it might be a standard, black polymer frame pistol that you change a color on.
Right.
Or maybe you change a grip on a revolver or something like that. Those are cool and they have their place, but, they're really not super innovative.
But talk about your bread and butter.
The bread and butter is what I call the real functional improvements.
Yeah.
Stuff that true gun guys or girls will see an advantage of. So, I like to look at things and break it down and say, okay, Glock or Ruger or SIG, whoever makes this particular model, but man, if we put this style aside, if we change the barrel length,
right.
If we tapered this cylinder down here, or if we round butted this, it would improve the function of the gun and also the appearance.
So we don't, we don't manufacture firearms here, but we've got really tight relationships. Jason works directly with the engineers at all the big manufacturers and small manufacturers. I mean, it's a variety. Our exclusives really don't have any boundaries.
Oh yeah, we'll work with anybody that's willing to work with us, and we do. I work with a lot of the product managers and engineers, and the cool thing is a lot of times we go up there. You see some of the stuff that they're working on, and you're able to provide that feedback at an early stage, and they might say, well, we weren't sure about this particular model, if it was marketable or not. And I'm like, hey, I love it. And if we do this and do that, we'll take it as an exclusive. And so it's really worked out well having those relationships. But, we try to do things. We try to partner with people that are industry experts like Larry Vickers, where we say, hey, look, Larry, how would if you were going to build a Glock, how would you want it?
Yeah.
And then
those are fun.
Oh yeah. And then we get it and we make it happen, and it's stuff that's, like I said, I love it when somebody can open a gun, take it out of the box, and it's ready to go. He doesn't have to do anything to it. He doesn't have to send it off to be customized. He doesn't void his warranty by doing that.
Right.
And it's ready to go, and he can get it at an affordable price.
And it's a lot of fun to just to see the feedback and the reaction of people. We did the Glock P80 last year, which was such a fun project, and really, you brainstorming years back. Again, we'll probably get into that in more depth down the road a little bit.
Let's save some of the
but it's fun to create those sort of things and make those connections with people of things some people wouldn't even dream could happen that we make possible.
Yeah, and honestly, some of them are pretty big dreams for us too. I mean, you conceptualize some of these projects and you think to yourself, okay, that's not going to happen.
We're doing it. We got to do an episode on what never came to fruition, or we need your just your insane wish list of your top 5. We'll get to that.
It's coming. Yeah,
that'll be another one.
But it's the good thing is that we've got such a proven track record with the manufacturers. They generally give us the benefit of the doubt now.
Sure.
So if we go to one of these manufacturers and say, hey, look, we really believe in this project and we think it can make it happen, they pretty much say, hey, look, as long as we can do it and it makes sense, we're going to do it for you. And because we've got that proven track record, and our customer base and the consumers out there have really responded well to these guns. They command a really good premium, especially the ones that are discontinued now. I mean, I like to get on Gunbroker all the time and look up some of our older models, and I look at some of the prices these things are going for. It's like, God, why didn't I buy like 10 of those?
Yeah, exactly.
But but it makes me proud.
And some ammo.
Yeah, really. But it makes me proud that people see the value in it, and it's not just because we made 500 of them. It's because it's got usable features that people desire.
Yeah. So our role is much bigger than just a middleman. I mean, that's kind of the broad generic term. I don't love it, but as a distributor, that's kind of what you get tagged sometimes. But we did want to give a little backdrop and a little more information on kind of what we do, and the exclusives are a big part of it. I think we, at the end of the day, we make a lot of people happy with some of the things that we come up with and collaborate on.
It's the one thing that gives us connection with the end user.
Yeah.
When we carry the everyday stuff and cataloged items, really the end user, he doesn't care where it comes from. A black Glock 19 is a black Glock 19, and it comes from whoever, whatever. But our exclusives, though, do give us that interaction in that ability for end users to contact us and give us ideas and suggestions, and I tell you, there's been some of them over the years that were like, wow, I didn't think of that one, and trust me, we pretty much think of everything.
I know you use a lot of resources when coming up with ideas and things like that from, and a lot, I'm sure, come from users. Some, there's probably some pretty wild stuff that you get, that maybe isn't usable. And I think when you sift through it and you're on the internet, there's probably some things that pop out at you that, that spark good ideas.
Well, and it depends on your perspective too. I mean, I'm a lifelong hunter.
Yeah.
I'm 46 now, and I think I was about 11 when I started. My dad started letting me hunt on my own.
Yeah.
So that's 35 years. And, we're fortunate down here in the South that we have really long hunting seasons.
Yeah.
Pretty much from October to the end of February, I was in the woods every weekend pretty much since about 11 years old. So, it's, you get a lot of firsthand experience on what works and what doesn't.
Right.
We've had concealed carry here for a long time. I've had a license since I was 21. And so, in 25 years, you kind of figure out what works and what doesn't. Fortunately, inside our four walls, we have a lot of experienced end users who eat, breathe, and live this stuff every day. And we shoot a lot of rounds.
This gives us a good platform to get that out there. Something that was a big, big part of the crux of little snippets and videos that we've done, things on social or whatever. But, to be able to sit down and start to kind of, extrapolate some of that information, not just from our people, but we're going to have some fun guests, I know, coming up, people that we get, visits from a lot of the manufacturers, product people, CEOs, and we can't wait to get into all that.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's lots of topics. I mean, we get tons of questions about certain maybe exclusives. Or,
your stack of
Well, and sometimes it's about the function and use of them too.
Yeah.
We do a lot of Ruger single action exclusives, and I always get questions. Okay, what kind of loads can I put in this gun? Or, what will this handle or whatever else? And we get a lot of those, and you really can't really get into it in an email or something. So really, I'd like to take a lot of these type of topics and we can really hash them out, in podcasts.
Well, we've got some great things lined up. We've got, all things shooting sports, whether it's hunting or concealed carry. And, we're going to try to get away from the path of kind of what everybody else is doing, and kind of do it, with our way. And again, with all of our, experience and knowledge that we have here and the resources, that we have here and the people and the visitors that we have, we kind of want to pull the curtain back a little bit. Episode to episode, talk about this stuff. We'll expand on our exclusives. We're going to have some fun giveaways, which we have right here in front of us. As a matter of fact, you can't kick off a podcast without giving something away.
We love the giveaways around here. So.
Yeah, we want to talk collectibles. Jason, has a couple great ideas when it comes to collectibles and things like that. So we've got some really neat things coming up. I'm super excited about it. I know you are.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the good thing is, we do have a lot of interaction with a lot of high-end end users as well. So we look forward to your suggestions.
Want your feedback. For
sure.
Hey,
give us ideas for what you want to hear about, what you want to talk about. Email us, call us. We're available. We cherish that feedback from our end users, and I love it. I love talking to guys who bought a Ruger number 1 and want to talk it out. That's what I'm here for.
Absolutely. And we absolutely want your interaction and your feedback. As a matter of fact, we'll start now. We'll do this giveaway, but let me hit a couple of the basics here. If you want to contact us, you got ideas, hit us up at podcast@lipseys.com, so you can email us any of your thoughts, suggestions, show topics, stuff we'll read right here, and questions we can read right here. And as a matter of fact, let's tie that into the giveaway. How do we want to give this stuff away? We've got, by the way,
that's a good idea, Rob. Hey, why don't we do this?
Let me name these awesome prizes here. We've got our super sexy exclusives calendar, and it's only February, so you still get a lot of use out of it. We've got our tactical koozie, so to protect your favorite beverage right there. One of my favorites, crowd favorite, is our whiskey bullets. So you can see they're silver bullets.
Those are pretty cool.
You throw them in the freezer, then you throw them in your whiskey glass. They've got little Lipsey's logos on them. We've got a Lipsey's ball cap for you and a sticker. So some lucky person out there is going to get it. So how are they going to get it? What are we going to do?
I think what we need to do is we'll take any people who send in questions, comments, topics for future podcasts to the podcast@Lipsey's email. We'll draw from that one.
Oh, okay, cool. We're going to draw from it. So, another thing you want to do is check out LIPSEY'sGuns.com, and we've got a little newsletter sign up there. So another thing, we're really just, starting and getting off the ground. We're going to be doing more giveaways. We've actually got a pretty cool giveaway that is going to be happening here in the next month. You're going to want to know about that. Obviously, our future podcast episodes. So sign up. We're not going to spam you or anything like that. It's just for fun and interesting topics. So you'll know when our podcasts are coming out, when we're doing our giveaways, new exclusives, maybe little sneak peeks. I don't know. We'll make it worth your while to sign up. And of course, you can find us at Lipsey's Guns on all the socials, on Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. So I'll tell you, man, I'm pumped. I mean, this is cool.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time, so I'm glad to finally kind of to get it going. I mean, we got a lot of topics we can cover, and I'm sure our listeners are going to give us some really good ideas as well.
I think so too. It's going to be a fun ride. So I think that's it for today. We're going to wrap it up, but until next time, aim higher.